Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to our review on the Ibanez Tone Lock Series PH7 Phaser guitar pedal. I picked this up at a local music store. It was just under $100 plus a power supply, so it was a little over $125 by the time you raked in the taxes. However, I had an in-store credit for $125, so they actually ate the difference for me. Because there was another situation involving my J-Tercer acoustic, if you guys have been following my videos lately, and it ended up going back to the store because the Canadian company refused to honor the warranty that the USA was willing to, because it was warranted. Unfortunately, when the US figured out I lived in Canada, they said, you gotta go to the Canada guys. And Canada guys, of course, they wouldn't even talk to me as far as my store went. They tried to deal with it, and they even told the store to get stuffed. So they allowed me to return it, but for an in-store credit. And I lost about 15 bucks plus the taxes, but it worked out in the end either way, because I still walked out of there with a pedal, with a power supply, and it was just over the 125, but they ate the difference. I mean, they promised they'd make me happy, and they did. And like I said before, I don't hold the store responsible for the problem with that guitar. So, it just means I gotta go another 4 or 5 months without an acoustic guitar, but at least I still have my electric. So, I thought, okay, I can spend it on whatever I want. Yep, okay, good, let's go searching for pedals. And I had to, of course, come out of there with a pedal with a power pack. And these guys are more expensive than Music City, where I usually deal. So this was like, almost just a couple, like a buck or two short of $100 just for the pedal. Plus the power pack, it's like, okay, because anything else for pedals that I would have liked were already way over, so that kind of sucked. But I did want a phaser pedal, and this one actually is, believe it or not, about, I'd say, 10 times better than the analog version of this pedal from Ibanez. Their analog version is actually barf. Okay, I wouldn't give you a nickel for it. And there was another pedal I looked at. It had a really freaky name tag to it, and we tried it out, and a couple of the stages weren't too bad, but when I hit that one stage, it just about blew my eardrums out, just with the high-pitched sound out of it. I thought, no, this is not for Kevy, because Kevy wants to use all the features when he has pedals, right? Like everybody else does. And this is one feature that if I activated that thing even against another pedal, I'm sure something would have shattered. Maybe my windows, I don't know. But, so I thought, no, this is not a good pedal. So we tried out this phaser, this one here, which is the one I came home with. Now, once you dial in something on this thing, it's okay. The depth control is not as sensitive as I would prefer it to be. And when you compare this thing to a Boss, for phaser, the Boss is like far superior. We already know that, and I know the Digitech one is too. But that's the choices we had were extremely limited. But at least I got a phaser that once I do dial in a couple of different tones, I can work with that. But eventually I'm gonna have to bite it and go for the Boss with the Digitech. Okay, it's just, this solved my credit issue. I was able to use it, and I got something that is fairly usable, okay? But it has some drawbacks to it, and it is not worth, by the way, anywhere close to what I paid for it. And even Amazon, I checked their website, and they want like 80 bucks, and it's still way overpriced, but we'll get to that later. Now, let's discuss good points first, okay? These lockdowns for the buttons, every pedal manufacturer should do that, okay? That would be awesome, okay? Because if you get a perfect setting that you're going to stick with on a particular pedal, this is the way to go, because then your setting is not going to get screwed up on you. If you bang the pedal around, throw it in and out of your bag, the chances of these dials moving is pretty friggin' minimal, okay? Really minimal. All right, so that's actually good. So that's awesome. The speed control works well. The level control works reasonably well. The feedback, you can't even tell what it's doing. The depth control, it kicks in somewhere around where it's set now. It's about where it kicks in that you can really notice it start to make a change, but anything below that, you might as well be on 0. So, you know, the depth is, it's usable. It's not perfect, but it's usable. That's good. Speed control, like I said, speed control works great. Mode 1 and 2, that's a phase shifter circuit. It takes you from a vintage tone on mode 1, and that's a 4-phase shift. And then mode 2 is deeper, and it's a 6-phase shift circuit. And you can tell the difference. You know, pretty much no matter where the dials are set, you can tell the difference. So that's at least good. But the switch is a little cheesy. I've never really been much of a fan of these kind of slider switches, sorry. Okay, tongue twist. I've never been a fan of the slider switches because they are extremely cheap, okay? I mean, they're worth like maybe 1/10 of a penny. But they do tend to last for quite a while, so, and I guess they wanted to keep things low profile, but I'll take a micro toggle switch any day, you know, because that thing will last me forever. But still, you've got 2 modes. That's a good little feature, okay? The style of the casing is actually pretty good. It's not overly robust. I mean, it is a little bit more robust than my Digitech, but I could care less, you know. It's still a nice design, you know, nice pattern that they've done. One thing I never do is I never worry about colors. If this thing would have been pink, I would have been fine with it. And I really am not a pink person because I don't care about what color the pedal is. Does it work? Yeah. Does it work? No. Whichever it is, it doesn't matter what color it is, okay? It is an all metal casing, so it is really rugged and durable. It's going to take a lot of abuse. What I don't like, of course, is the lock system for this foot pedal. It's ridiculous. It's cheap, it's cheesy. I mean, it's got a good spring load on it, I'll give them that. But this push-in switch thing, I don't know how well you can really trust that sort of thing. It's just, to me, it doesn't speak a lot of quality there. That was a real chintz-out job. They could have copied Boss. Everybody can actually legally copy Boss for their lockdown system if they want to. Because when it comes to patents, and it surprises me that everybody doesn't do it, they're not making an exact thing. I mean, Boss has their circuit technology, it's theirs, no one's allowed to dupe it, that's fine. No one can dupe the Boss Roland name and get away with it either. You know, but you change the lockdown for the foot from, you know, that little plastic, you know, screw in, and put, like, say, a stainless steel knurled knob. That's a change, and there is no such thing as a patent on a screw anyway, really. And if there is, well, change it up. You know, even paint it a different color. It's a change, and you only need one small minor change from some other manufacturer that may have sat there and designed and, you know, laid out that screw style. One little change is all it's needed, and they can't touch you. You know, so that would have been nice to see if they would have copied Boss, because I like that Boss lockdown. I always have. Okay. The multi-course pedal I have, it doesn't use the Boss lockdown, but it's more than sufficient. They actually have their own little style here that works great. Now, I don't know how many companies have duped it, but you know what? It actually works just as good as the Boss, you know, because this one here, you know, a little off topic, I know, but you just pop it in, pop it out, boom, you know. And the way the catch system and everything works with it, it's pretty simple, and boom. So you've changed your battery, you're done, right? And this thing, yeah, you push the button, pop it up, change it. Okay, so you don't need to unplug your amp, but you can do it with a pencil or something pokey, like a key would even get in there enough that you could pop it if you needed to change your battery. But I don't like the cheesy latch on the Ibanez pedal, so that's a downer. So it's got some downsides to her. It did come with a battery. Woohoo! Big whoop, right? I know. And because it doesn't really matter. But any pedal, whoever makes it, the batteries get sucked dry in no time. So what does it sound like? Alright. I'm going to give you a little tour here. This is my clean channel, and I'm running through my Roland XL15 Cube amp. is the bridge pickup. So let's turn this on. Let's kill that feedback. Let's crank it up. Feedback, if it's doing anything, I can't hear it. Okay? So let's pop that out of the equation. It's useless. Level control. Has a little bit of effect. It actually starts at around 3. It'll start to take effect. Little amounts, but then it gets a little more serious around here. So between 3 to here, not a lot. 3 down, absolutely squat. But here and up, it's a lot more present that it's actually doing something. Depth control. It'll actually start kicking in about here, and then it's noticeable from there up. So that's pretty good. It's not bad. Speed control. It's on 8 right now, and it starts to get really mental as you go from 8 up to 10. You know, that's actually good. Too bad it wasn't that sensitive through the whole thing. That's probably about it. So from 0 to here, it's not a lot, if anything. You're not going to hear much. Let's go to mode 2. There is a bit of a noticeable difference. There's where it starts to kick about the same place. Depth. Well, that's relatively around the same area. Feedback. Totally useless. Level. So from about here to here, very good. That's going to be about your cutoff is here. So from here down, useless. I don't know, it's useless using the feedback, but let's make a pretty little setup and see what it does. Just for giggles. Let's have the chorus in. So, actually doesn't do too bad when you throw in a distortion or even the chorus with it. Not bad. At least you know it's really doing something at that point. But by itself, it's really it's usable, right? But that feedback button, absolutely garbage. We just went through all that, so I don't need to repeat it. Saves on about 5 minutes of video. So anyway, it is a usable pedal. Way overpriced though, but it is usable. And I thought, well, I don't have any other options, and if I picked out one of the other pedals that was actually still affordable, but I would not have gotten a power supply, I'll guarantee you that. And they were pedals like stomp boxes, so no battery access. I didn't even have very much choice in there. So, you know, this particular store does not exactly carry a ton of pedals, okay? If I want selection for pedals in this town, I just haul over to Music City. But unfortunately, that's where my credit was at that particular store, and they don't have a lot. And what they do have is a little on the expensive side, you know. But maybe that'll change in time. I don't know. But you know, the pedal has a lot of drawbacks to it. You know, yes, it's usable. Yes, it can make some freaky stuff when you start throwing other pedals against it, which is kind of good because at least it's more noticeable what it's doing, you know. But the way the controls are, the lack of sensitivity, the lack of presence in what each control is actually doing, and of course feedback is like the squat, right? It's like run it up and down, nothing's happening, you know. It's like if there is anything, I don't know. But I can't hear anything of it, even a minute little change. That would have been something, right? So we have 3 good controls basically, or half decent. Well, definitely the speed is great. The other ones are, they are what they are. You know, but I think on the overall side of things, guys, I mean, you know I'm honest, and I'm also brutally honest, so yeah, you're probably not going to like what I have to say. If you're a kid that doesn't know any better and you can find one of these things used, buy it. Don't go spending $100. Don't even spend $80. Ibanez needs to seriously lower the price on their pedals, that or start making them better. One of the two. Make them worth the money, because when you compare these, and like this was $100, even at $80 on Amazon, you know, you can get a really super nice Digitech for probably that same money. You can definitely get these mini stomp boxes, you know, you can get 2 for $80, you know, and then probably 2 power supplies, especially if you buy them overseas in China, you know, so you can get like a 2-for-1 deal, you know. 2 stomp boxes, 2 power supplies, same money, actually a lot less, to be honest. 80, 90, 100. I had 125, so yeah, I could actually walked out of there with a lot more. But that's the thing, and the stomp boxes are really cool that they're producing. A lot of companies are making stomp boxes. But this Ibanez thing, man, I gotta tell you, what is it realistically worth though on the honest scale? I mean, they did put some work into this thing, obviously. It obviously does work, it's just not as tunable as it should be and could be. You know, etc. Because I've played on higher end phaser pedals, even just a straight phaser, okay, not any super phaser, or just phaser to phaser. I've played on other ones, and I gotta tell you, man, this thing, yeah, it's not quite as good as any of the others, and you know, but alright, 2 3/4 out of 5. That's the review for the star rating, for those of you who like star ratings. And that's on an overall. I mean, and you still got the point in there where it just loses a natural, you know, bit of a point score for the fact that it ain't perfect, because nothing in this planet is. And if you think it is, well, I don't know. Might want to rethink that, because nothing is. Anyhow, but yeah, 2 3/4. The lack of the response, the areas where it does respond in some of the controls, is stupid. it needs to respond through the whole spectrum, and you need to be able to hear that difference. If you can't, there's a problem. Feedback, there's absolutely no, I don't know why they would put it in there, because it doesn't do anything. And I've had a lot of time to play on this. I've had more time on this Ibanez than I had on my Stomp box, you know, and I can tell you, I've been messing around and messing around and messing around with this pedal, trying to dial things in, and I've only got, so far, I think 2, maybe 3 things that are actually really usable, where I can still blend in the distortion pedal, I can still blend in my chorus if I need to, you know, and I can blend the chorus with it and nothing else, and it's still good, you know. It's just, and I'm not picky about color of cases. I could care less. I don't ever diss a pedal based on color, you know, so, because I don't care. Does it work? Yeah. Is it what I want? Yeah. Okay, good. Here you go. You know, but, you know, some of you are going to be like, well, then why did you even do it? Well, because I had a $125 credit I needed to use. They're not going to hang on to that credit forever, you know, and I wanted to walk out of there with something that's usable, because that guitar wasn't. And that's just the thing, right? So this, at least, it is usable. It's going to work for a few things, you know. But overall, I mean, after getting enough time to play in it, because I had only a couple of minutes in the store, yeah, it's Phaser, cool, yeah, it does this and this, all right, cool, that, I'll work on it and, you know, see how it is overall. And that's another reason why, you know, I'll buy stuff, you know, just to check it out and see how it is and let you guys know. You know, and this, I'm going to tell you right now, is kind of disappointing in a lot of ways. And like we've already talked about, so if you forgot, go back to the beginning of the video and start again, and you'll see where I picked this thing apart. But yeah, 2 3/4, it's the best this thing's getting. I'm not willing to give it any more. In fact, if you want a good, honest, down-to-earth, I'm going to give you 2 prices. How's that sound? My honest-to-God, swear on the Bible, swear on whatever you want me to swear on, okay? My honest-to-goodness, what do I think this pedal is financially worth? Okay, now of course they don't come with power supplies, keep that in mind, okay? Just the pedal, and it did come with a battery, so it's usable right out of the box. I would say, honestly, between, I would say about, well, forget the between. Flat out, it's worth 40 bucks. Okay? It is usable. It'd be great for a little beginner, you know, kid to learn on, you know, to go, oh, look, I got a Phaser pedal. Awesome. Okay, because, you know, how kids are. They're actually like that. They get really excited, right? And we're all kids once, too. So that's where I'd say. I'd say honestly, honest to God, like 40 bucks. I mean, and that's, to put it any lower would definitely be an insult to Ibanez, you know, and I really think that it would be worth about 40 bucks, really. But suitable for kids, not pros. If you're a pro, stay away from it. You know, if you're even a bar gigger, forget it. You know, if you're just a kid learning to play guitar and you got an effects pedal, that's what this thing is actually worth. However, unless Ibanez lowers the price, which means even the cost to the dealer has to be substantially lowered, okay, for the dealer to be able to sell it for 40 bucks, unless that's willing to take place, then yeah, you're going to still be stuck buying it. So in that case, I'd have to say, well, don't, okay? Especially if you're really serious about it. I mean, I'll tell you right now, guys, once I get the money for the Boss or the Digitech, okay, because I've played on those things too, yeah, I'm all in on those, and this one I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll do a giveaway, maybe some kid can use it for learning to play on, but, you know, I don't know yet, we'll see, because to me, 100 bucks is ludicrous, especially after the amount of time I've gotten to spend on it. I've seen how things are reacting, and everything else, and blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah, it's only worth about 40 bucks in the real world. Okay, I mean, this stuff doesn't even cost much to build. Like, if you take a look at my stomp pedal there, that black little distortion jobby, that thing's an awesome metal pedal if you want one. Okay, that's like 40 bucks retail out of China, and that's 40 Canadian. Okay, so, and free shipping and no taxes. And yeah, you got to buy a power supply for it too. And that little thing is awesome. I love it, you know. But when you take a look at this Ibanez here, I'm sorry, it's a $40 pedal brand new all day long, and that's about all it is actually, seriously, without being, you know, too insulting to Ibanez, okay? Because I know they're going to take an insult to that one, especially if they ever view this video. That's about what it's worth. Okay, their analog pedal in the Phaser, I tried it out and I didn't even have to spend much time on it. I wouldn't even give you like a nickel for it, okay? It's garbage, total junk. I wouldn't even give that to a kid. I just, you know, recycle the metal and turn it into an RC part or something. You know, but this thing, at least it is usable. It would be more suited for a kid, definitely not for a pro whatsoever, or bar giggers, you know. You guys are bar giggers. So you're not pro until you hit the big leagues, apparently. So, but yeah, I wouldn't even use this in a bar gig. It would not be good. So yeah, that's where we're at. And if you don't like my review on it, I don't care. You know, I review products that I buy, and you know, and even the odd stuff that a company will send me, and I'm honest. And you know, I'm not going to candy coat it in any way. You know, it is what it is, you know. And sometimes we get good stuff. I mean, that distortion pedal, the only thing I could pick on it on the review for that was the fact that it didn't come with a power pack, you know. And the companies making these things, I mean, for the cost that it costs them to actually make stuff realistically, okay, because that's one thing a lot of people don't know is how much stuff costs to make. For what it actually costs to produce that stuff, they can afford to give you a power supply with it. Every manufacturer can, you know, without raising the price tag. You know, they can afford to do it. You know, nail us on the power bricks, you know, where we can plug in 10 at a time. Nail us there, but give us a darn power supply, you know, with our pedals, because, you know, especially the stomp boxes, they can't use batteries. At least these bigger guys, they can use batteries, right? You know, and usually you'll get a battery with them. Sometimes, depends on the company. Ibanez actually supplied a battery, so. But yeah, that's where I'm at. That's what it is. If you think I'm being unfair, that's up to you to decide. I always tell people, you know what? Leave your comments, leave your questions. I'll do the best I can to answer them, and I do. And when it comes to reviewing products, I do my utmost best. I make sure that I understand and I know that product inside and out as best as humanly possible, you know, and that's where we go with it. And then my results are my results. And it is my opinion, and we're all entitled to them. So there you go. So if you felt I was a little bit too unfair, well, I'm not sorry. It's just the way it goes. But like I said, eventually I'm going to get either the Boss or the Digitech. Maybe I'll get a stomp box that's a Phaser stomp box. I've seen some of them that are actually pretty slick, and they blow the doors off this thing for way less money. You know, it's just that you got to order that stuff online generally. You know, my main music store carries a ton of stuff, so I'm going to keep an eye on their selection too. But anyways, as usual, guys, hey, thanks for watching, and you know, we already said the whole comment thing, so scratch that. So you've already heard that. So we'll catch you on the next video, and have fun.